Hello, hi everyone. I'm here again with a new video. This time we will be talking about why speed just doesn't work currently in the way it is uh, done now. Why it doesn't work, what are its problems. And as you guys liked the, the video that I made about how to build up your village, where I started with a notes sheet, here we are again. And well, these are the topics of the video. And if you want to skip ahead to any topic in specific for whatever reason, you will be able to see timestamps either on the description or on the video itself. You can find them there, and you can just skip ahead, and you can uh, go specifically to the topic you may be specifically interested in. So let's get started, shall we? Let's get started. So, firstly, well, some of you may not be familiar with speed, so I will give you a brief rundown of what speed is. So, speeds are, well, surely you know this, but they are a game mode inside of Tribal Wars, where, as it says here, they are a modified game version, and they are applied at a much higher speed and last between a few hours and a few weeks. Usually it's a few hours. It's rare having any server make around last weeks. That's not really a speed. That's more of a classic or a mini classic. But anyway, that is that speed. It's pretty simple, right? It seems pretty simple. But the reality is, if you are a player of Worlds, you know that there's a lot into it. There's missions, there's premium points, you can buy resources in the market, there's events, there's all that. Speed doesn't have any of that. It's like the most pristine way of playing the game. All of that pay to win bullshit is not included on it, and that's why it's such a great thing, and that's why that's all I've played, and all you've seen me um, show here on YouTube, because, well, in my opinion, speeds are the only actual way of playing the game that you can actually improve on and learn how to play better. I also intend on making a video on why I don't play Worlds, so stay tuned for that. Yeah. Also, before I actually start with the problems of speed itself, I have to say that some of these may overlap with Tribal Wars problems itself, and I will make a video on the globality of Tribal Wars problems, which is a bit harder than this because it's more of a general thing. But I tried to bring up some interesting topics here without overlapping a lot with that future video that is also going to come out. So um, let's get into it. Let's go. Okay, so as you've seen, I've split the video into a good amount of parts, right? And we will start by talking about platform rules. What do I mean by platform problems? Basically, things built into the game itself or not that make speeds be much worse. First one, well, you've read it already. It's not a surprise if you are an active player, but it's different script rules. Now, if you are not very familiarized with the game, you maybe would have even thought that there is a single server for all of the games, and you just have like a different interface with a different language. But no, there's a server for every single language, and I honestly think that's great, but that's a topic for another time. But what that causes is that every single server has their own rules, and, well, scripts are something extremely relevant in speed because, well, since the game lacks a lot of functions that are pretty much a must for speed players, like key press for example, which is a script that allows us to just hold the key instead of having to click every time we have to send one loot attack. Well, we have to use them. So let's look at, for example, what is allowed on .NET versus what is allowed on the German server. For example, two quick examples. Scripts, right? So, well, external independent tools. This is all sort of Chrome extensions, link clamp, Google Translate extension, and all sort of external tools. And then you have typical JavaScripts that are approved. And yeah. However, let's go to the German server. Oh, feedback on speed operation. I wonder what this is. Anyway, I will take a look after. Here, if you go to speeds, to scripts, you will see user scripts, which is Temper Monkey. And if you play Tribal Wars, you will know that Temper Monkey is like the most illegal thing. It's like you are committing a sin if you are using this. However, in Germany, it's legal. Which is a mess. Because imagine you are a German player, right? You've played on your German server, you've used all of this your entire life, basically, because, well, it's legal. And you just randomly go to the international server, for example. You tune in, you start playing, start doing your own thing, and you just get banned in the middle of the round. Because you are using illegal scripts. Does that actually happen? Not really, because these scripts are shit. Well, they're not necessarily shit, but they are mostly scripts that give you information and not necessarily anything that does any sort of automated action for you. I think. I'm not sure. Maybe some of them do. I don't know. If this one to rename attacks, for example, this seems pretty strong. But still, this would not be allowed on .NET, so maybe you would be banned for it. And this is a big problem, because, well, speeds are not something you just play in one server, because, well, I could go, for example, to the BR server or the PT server, let's see. And we have currently an 8-hour round, but if I go to BR, for example, you have a 15-day round. So if you are a Brazilian person, that sounds weird. Whatever, if you mainly play on the Brazilian server, you were not at home in April 13th at this time. You didn't start playing the speed round. It's been like 7 days, and you're like, well, I'm not gonna join this. The server is way too developed. There's nothing to do here. Let's look for a speed elsewhere. So you would instead go to another server, the PT server, for example, and you would see, oh, okay, this round started a bit ago. Let's play it instead. And that's normal. That's what all speed players do, and that is why you have this beautiful website that is TW Speeds and error occurred. Maybe you don't have this website. That's a problem. That's a problem. That's concerning. Well, anyway, it is what it is. But we have this, right? And if you have played speed before, you will know about it. And you can just check when there's a new speed round opening. And, well, if you want to play a speed round, you just go here and you play in whatever server appears first. Not really, but, well, you can choose and you can check the settings and you're like, okay, well, let's see. I'd go here and see, okay, well, I don't like these settings. Instead, I will play the server, like the Romanian server, whatever. Oh, the settings are cool, I will play this instead. So, you have a bit of a choice, because the rounds are so fast, you are not extremely committed to a single server. So having different rules in every server is a big problem. Just like language. And I don't think I need to talk much about this one, because, well, a lot of people who play the game will only speak their own language. So, I mean, I know, for example, a lot of Portuguese people who don't speak anything other than Portuguese. So imagine a Portuguese person going to the Italian server. okay, maybe that's a bit of a bad example because you can actually understand a little bit. But let's say they go to the German server. Okay, then you absolutely can't understand anything that you are seeing in front of your eyes. So in the end, language ends up becoming a big barrier, especially to players that are just now getting into the game, because, well, they don't know where every button is. Yeah, that's a problem at first. So that is a barrier. That is a barrier. Let's move on to the next one here. That is the failure to make game functions work properly. And what do I mean exactly by that? Well, speed is obviously much faster than regular worlds. Worlds are speed 1, 2. Speeds are speed 400. Yeah, they are speed 400. Maybe even more sometimes, but that's not allowed. But that is a topic for later that I just had it here. How cool. With the magic of a pause button. Anyway, the game functions that I'm talking about here is specifically the account manager. As you know, well, I've made some videos on the account manager. Let's see if I find it. Here. You can check this video out. It explains pretty much everything that the account manager does. But the general idea is that for speeds, it just doesn't work because this function has a bit of a reload time. The reload time basically makes it so, well, for troops, for example, there is a reload time of like 1 minute. So the troops section of the account manager should produce troops instantly, like continuously produce troops automatically, because you configure it that way. There, do I show it here? Construct troops. Okay, yeah, that's cool to have this in front of. So you just set this up with the amount of troops you would like your village to have, and it should recruit over time. That's how it is meant to work. And well, it does work, but for speeds, it only refreshes every like minute or so, which for worlds is totally fine, since recruiting a unit takes 8 minutes. Okay, maybe not that much, but it can take a lot of time. But in speeds, it takes 1 second or a few milliseconds. So that is a big problem, since this function, for example, only recruits a maximum of 50 units at a time, which is just why? Why is it set up like why? But it is. So it really doesn't work properly when you are trying to play a speed round and trying to have recruitment constantly going on. So recruitment is pretty much something you always have to worry about. Construction, not so much. It actually does an okay job. But another thing that it doesn't work at all is balancing. There's a balancing function here, but it barely works at all, even in worlds. It's really strange. It only balances like once a day or something randomly. Tries to make it so every village has the same amount of resources. But anyway, that is something that I will talk about in Tribal Wars Problems itself, that video. But generally, this feature is not made for speed because it's way too slow. The refresh time is way too slow. It's a bit understandable as to why, because, well, you don't need it to be faster for worlds, but why not make it faster in speeds? It doesn't seem extremely unreasonable to think of doing it differently in the speed servers. Anyway, moving on. There is zero interest from the devs to try to make players understand speeds, and arguably, well, not necessarily devs, by the way. They just do what they're told to do, but arguably, well, the entire game, because there is basically no tutorial, and, well, you know that players have to learn the basics somewhere, and they are not learning the basics on the game itself. I can tell you that. Most people who get into the game now have probably played in the past. That's one way to get into the game, or maybe they just randomly joined and found a tribe, and that tribe hyped them to keep playing, and maybe then they got some videos of mine and asked some questions, or some videos of whoever else. There's like some people who make videos in Portuguese, some people who make videos in Polish. I think I found the other day. So there's people who new players can ask questions to, and that's how they learn. But here specifically, I'm talking about speed. Speed has a lot more specific things than worlds have, because worlds, well, you can kinda take your sweet little time to do absolutely everything, because you will have an eternity to plan your attacks, to snipe even noble trains, to plan whatever you are gonna build up next in your headquarters, to do all of that. In speed you don't have any of that, and there is absolutely nothing in the game that teaches you this logic that is needed for you to play speed, really. I mean, there may be some topics in the forum hidden somewhere, um, just like the case, just like it is on the Portuguese server, where I've made some topic, and if it has not been archived yet, since they really like me, I wouldn't be surprised if it was archived. But if it was not archived, it's there. But still, it's incomplete, and not everyone gets to the forums. And I mean, I wouldn't mind if they made some like link inside of the game to redirect people to those topics. That would be something, at least. Shouldn't be too hard to do. But there is nothing. Currently, there is absolutely no way for players to organically, by themselves, understand what they're doing in speed. There's just nothing. And moving on to the last topic that we have here, which is a funny one, is that the game is purposefully handicapped. And that seems like a really strange thing to say, but it's the truth. The maximum speed that speed admins are allowed to run rounds at is 400, which is like, how did they come up with that number? What's the logic behind it? What sort of mathematical calculations did they do to to achieve that? It doesn't make much sense. And the reality is that I myself was a speed admin, and I was also told that shouldn't make rounds more than 400 speed. The server will break, something bad will happen, and the fucking universe will explode or something. But if you go look at it, you will quickly realize that this is not the case at all. Let's look at the PT server, for example, which is probably the server that is closest to the people higher up in the game. And I may talk about that in some other video. Anyway, I already did, but I don't know if I will post it. Going back to this, if we go back to round 1000, 1000, 1000, 1000, 1000, 1000, 1000, huh? You see? 1000 speed. Magically, it is possible to have a round that is not 400 speed. Right? So, it is possible. They had a lot of people playing this round. It was basically a day-long round, and back then at this time there were a lot of people playing. This was a 26-point start, I imagine, and there's a lot of people with a good amount of villages, honestly, for this time. And well, this just goes to show that there is absolutely no problem in running a 1000 speed round. And if at this time there maybe were like, okay, let's say a bit of a moderate estimate. Holy shit, that's a lot of OD, especially for a N0 start. But let's say that there were 200 people on the speed round. Nowadays, it would be extremely rare for me to ever find around 400 people. 200, I said. I don't know, doesn't matter. It probably had more than 400 even, this round. But anyway, it's not something that exists nowadays. So if anything, you have even more reasons to run rounds like these today, because your server is even less likely to break for the server being too fast or whatever. Also, I've done it. I I've done it when I was a part of the Italian support a lot of times. I probably will not find it. Yeah, but let's see. I mean, I doubt I will find it, but I have myself made rounds that are much faster than 400 speed. I've made some rounds with 1000 speed, some models. They are probably still up even, but I don't know if they are used. Well, they should not be used, right, according to the game rules. But there is no reason for them to not be used. So, yeah. I even once went up to, I think it was 25,000 speed. The only thing that does is what you would expect it to do. The calculations of the unit speed are different, of course. The production time is different. Well, it just affects the times, really. It doesn't affect anything else. Of course, affects the production, but that's normal. But it doesn't really affect the way the game runs. It doesn't really overclock the server in any way. At least, that's what it seems like. What seems like causes that more is the amount of commands ongoing. If there's like a lot of commands, the server may take longer to process it. Or if there's like a lot of villages in a map, which is not the case in speed most of the times. There are just not enough players for that. Those are the things that normally handicap the server, not speed. So the maximum of 400 speed is just something that doesn't really make sense. Especially because it is fun to play at more speed than 400. I've done that. Let's see if I can find it. Here. It's yeah, I've done it, I've recorded it. It's fun. It's genuinely fun. There is just more to do. You need to be even faster. You can watch this video if you want. It's pretty fun. There's surely another video. Did I write something like this? Fastest settings? No, that's the legal fastest settings. There was a round where I played same start as this round, but at 1000 speed as well. I'm pretty sure I recorded that. Anyway, if you find it, congratulations. If not, I don't know if you're missing out on a lot, to be honest. Anyway, yeah, it's possible. It's honestly fun, and it would be nice to see people compete at that kind of speed. So now, let's move on to the second big topic, well, I guess third. That is the player base. Well, and as you've read there, the player base is a problem in itself, not even necessarily their actions, but already just its existence in a way, or like, well, it's demographics. I think that's the best way to put it, because so let's step back and think a little bit. Who plays this game nowadays? I don't. But apart from that, most people who play now are, as I've already said, people who have been playing for a very long time, or people who come back to the game now and like try it out for a little bit. They are never new players that never heard about the game, or it's fairly rare, because I mean, imagine a 15-year-old guy randomly getting into tribal wars, logging onto the game and seeing a stationary village and having to like wait to have the buildings be upgraded. Yeah, I'm sure he would have a lot of fun and would definitely continue to play the game. So yeah, there is nothing that attracts young new players, and the players who play the game constantly are old. This is not an insult in any way. It's just, well, the reality. The demographic of the game, demographics, are fairly older than any other game, in average, surely, because the game was created when, in 2004, I think, 2005, something like that, and a lot of people have even been playing since then. It's been 20 years. They didn't start playing when they were 1. That's for sure. So most TW players are like around like 23 to like 50 years old, even maybe even older. It's fairly rare to see someone who is younger than like 23, even like 20. There's like only me, honestly, and maybe like a few other people, but it's extremely rare. So those people in general, they will not have much free time to invest into playing speed and practicing, because it's something that needs to be practiced and learned, or well, even show any sort of interest in speed at all. It's much more chill for them to just play a world, which is something that you can just check from time to time, rather than having to be for 3 hours extremely focused on something. So yeah, that is a problem. But then moving on to the next one, we have toxicity, which is, well, yeah, toxicity is a problem in every single game, of course, but you really don't understand how toxic TW players can get, especially in speed. In speed, you have the biggest degenerates possible. They are both toxic in game and, well, toxic verbally as well. Like, we've had people telling others to kill themselves unironically, which is, I mean, I don't really care if you message your enemy for the round saying, haha, you are bad, I'm gonna beat you, and then I don't know what happens after. But like those types of like shit talking, I generally tolerate it, even like mild insults. I generally don't care. But if you're telling someone to kill themselves, come on, we're playing a game here, guys. Let's chill a little bit. And honestly, that's kind of the majority of the player base. I'm not even joking. I would like to be joking. I really would. But really, a lot of the players will just insult themselves like a ton, and even like maybe like even try to dox other players for whatever reason. I've seen like the Romanian players really going at it. They're extremely toxic and insulting not only players but also staff for no reason at all. Yeah, the staff takes quite a lot of insults for no real reason. I think I'm probably one of the only people in this game that actually comes here and, well, I also do talk some shit about the staff in general and the problems of the game, but I don't come here insulting them and their mothers, right? That wouldn't be good for anyone. So yeah, but that's the sad thing of this game, is that most players do that, right? it's that's the problem. So imagine you are a little noob, you attack someone for some reason who is extremely toxic, and they see a cross on their screen with a 1. They just decide to send a message, say the most disgusting, vile shit ever. That doesn't really make you want to play the game a lot more, does it? I don't know if it would make me want to play the game. So anyway, it's problematic. It really is a problem. Anyway, let's move on. I mean, this toxicity, I could go on about it for a very long time. There's people who are like report baiting other people, like they like do something that is like not bannable, but is close enough so that whoever they message will answer with something even stronger, and that will make the original guy report him, and then it will make the other guy who just answered an insult with an insult to get banned. It's like, really, there's a lot of strategists here when it comes to insulting and even getting people banned off of insulting. It's honestly amazing how far people can go just without breaking the rules, but getting like just a tiny little bit close to it, right? Just a little bit close to breaking the rules, but not close enough. Not close enough for them to get banned, but to make others get banned. Really, I've seen some very weird things. But anyway, I won't go down that rabbit hole. Let's go to point 3.3, which is this game mode, right? It's inherently super competitive. I mean, it has to be. It's speed. You have to click fast. It's in its name. There's not much hiding it. But well, we've talked about the problem that the player base is fairly old, not much time for this. That's a problem. But also, most of the players, even if they become good, right? Even if they become good at the game, and even if they're like winning a speed round, and I've witnessed this at first hand because, for example, let's say we would host a private round on the Discord server, which is something we've done a lot of times. If you've been watching my YouTube videos for a while, you've seen me upload some of those videos. They are extremely fun to play on, and probably even fun to watch. I mean, a lot of people tell me they are, or have told me they are. I don't know if we're ever going to do them again. If we do, I will obviously record it. But, well, the reality is that not everyone wants to play on them. Like, even if they are able to, like, even if they have a ton of time, you may even just approach, like, some random guy who is winning some round, and you're like, hey, you wanna come have some fun, play some, like, well, more competitive round than the public round, but, well, at least you can meet new players and chat to them and all of that, and they will mostly just say no, like they have to me. I've tried to approach a lot of people in public rounds that are actually fairly decent at the game, but they will just refuse to ever participate in any of these initiatives. And, well, I'm talking about these Discord rounds because they are like the most accessible thing ever. I mean, you just join the Discord server, we give you the password to the round, we make teams, and we play it out. It's simple as that. But I could even talk about tournaments and the fact that it's extremely rare for people to join tournaments. I mean, if you have watched my speed admin history video, you will have heard that I tried. I tried really hard to, well, make fun and enjoyable tournaments and even just competitive events. And most of them have absolutely no success at all because players don't care. Players just don't want to be competitive. It's not that there aren't players playing. Look, if I were to go to the .NET server right now, you would see that there's like 2 or 3 guys. Okay, maybe not. Maybe this round is not the best example. They're all kind of bad. But let's see. I mean, it's a night round. Let's see this round instead. You'll see that there's like these 3 guys that are like better than everyone else. But if I were to tell them, no, let's come play a tournament, they would be like, nah, just no. Which, I mean, either it means that tournaments are just not appealing enough, which is, I mean, I find that hard to believe because the game is fun. If they're playing the game, they probably enjoy it, right? Or there's just no reason for them to play them. Either there's like no recognition, they feel like they get no recognition from it, or they feel like there's like no in-game rewards, or that the in-game rewards are not sufficient to make them spend enough time practicing and learning how to play better as a team and all that. I don't know. I could come up with a lot of theories, but people just don't want to play the game competitively, basically, which is problematic because, well, and we're going back to how this topic started, it is an extremely competitive game mode. I mean, just look at the way I play speeds. It's, yeah, try to do that yourself. This sounds fucking terrible. I don't mean to say, oh, you're terrible, I'm inside at the game, but really, it's not something you can just instantly achieve. That's not how it works, and that's the beauty of it, honestly. But it's also a problem. We'll get there. On to the next topic, which is bots. It's bots. Yeah, you saw this one coming. It just had to. I mean, it has to be here. People use bots. I could end that there, but no. Yeah. So in speeds, well, of course you have to play much faster than in normal worlds. What do you do in normal worlds? You use bots. No, wait, no, you can't. Well, you do. Be honest. Come on, you don't. Oh, okay. Maybe it's just me. No, I don't. I don't even play. Come on. No. Anyway, this is taking a bit of a yeah, going on the wrong direction. Anyway, the the bots people use in speed mostly are shitty bots. Honestly, they are just using like farm bots, auto recruitment bots, stuff like that. those things, they objectively, and we've proved it, right? I have proved it. I've literally made, I think I've made a video even, playing against a guy who was admittedly cheating, openly cheating, and I just beat him in all metrics possible. So it objectively is worse than using normal legal scripts. But people still use it. People still use bots. And they barely play the game at all, some of them. I see a lot of people, or at least back then, when I was playing more regularly, I have not played for a while, but there was like a big group of people who, for some reason, just seem to have fun taking wins, which is, I mean, it's cool for them, but they just like turn the bot on, turn a farm bot on a tab, and, well, they're like at their work, some of them even. I'm talking maybe about a very specific case, but it might be that you, if you play speed and you are into the community, you may know of cases like this, because it's not a unique thing, but they're like at their work, but like on their other monitor they have tribal words, they have a bot open on a tab, and on another tab they're like clicking upgrades sometimes, or clicking to build some troops. And in the end, they may even win some rounds like that, because the game is not competitive at all, and people just don't care. But people do that, and that removes the fun of the game, because it's like you're playing against the bots, basically. it literally is playing against bots, because then it's like, and you will have seen this in a lot of my videos, people that are even able to somewhat keep up in sprint, but they are very behind in farm, because they just upgrade their headquarters, because that's what gives them points and it makes them feel good. And then when I attack them, they just instantly die. They don't even put up a fight, because they just had the bot on the entire time and they can't even actually play the game, which is extremely unfun to play against. I mean, yeah, and well, we will get there. We will get there in the sixth point as well. But it really is just not fun. You're playing against people that are not even playing the game, almost. I mean, they are playing, and they will say they will enjoy the game if they win, but they're not really doing much to win. They're just turning on the bot, winning some speed rounds from time to time because of that, and, well, it's not like they are necessarily even better than anyone. It's just the bot playing, and he sends some attacks from time to time. And that's a really big problem, genuinely. You may be hearing this and you might think, yeah, you're weird, no one actually does this. And I can guarantee you people do. And I can also guarantee you that people do this, because I have done it myself. Well, it's not a surprise that I've used the bots in the past, and that's why I can feel so comfortable to openly talk about this. I know how they work. I know all of them. I know what people do with bots. It's not a surprise at all. But, well, I've also grown out of that, and frankly, just realizing that it's not the correct way to play the game, and you don't really earn anything from using bots in speed at all. Worlds, it's a different discussion, but this is not the video for that. But generally, just bots, just not fun. Doesn't make the game more fun. Speeds, that is, speeds. I'm talking speeds. I'm being objective here. This is my opinion. I'm not trying to follow game rules here, guys. Haha, I'm sorry, games employee, that you're listening to this. I'm gonna... no, I'm not really gonna say anything weird. That's about it. But, yeah, there's no reason for you to use bots here. Stay tuned for the Worlds video, though. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna tell you to use bots. But yeah, that's a problem. I've been like talking shit for like a minute or a minute and a half for no reason. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. I hope you are not bored yet. I'm getting a little bit bored. Nah, I'm fine. I'm enjoying this. I'm kind of talking to myself. It's like I'm a bit schizophrenic in the end, but maybe I actually am. Well, at least I'm having fun. So, Next problem is players that just play in teams of, well, infinite people and ruin the experiences of others. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. But let's open some examples, shall we? I pointed out here the Hungarian and the Romanian server. The Romanian server, holy shit, it really is, or was even, I'm not sure. Like this site just does not work anymore. Like absolutely nothing works. That's just sad, honestly. I don't know what's happening here. Because, well, the statistics that I was gonna pull out come from that site, and now I can't. So I need to go look for them manually. Anyway, in the Romanian server mostly is where you will find people. Let's say this round probably has people doing that. Tribes of 3 members. Yeah, I mean this is not as bad as it was, but you have 2 tribes of United. It's like playing a world, really. In World you have a ton of like academy tribes and shit. I mean I can just come here and open like the newest Brazilian world or whatever. Let's see how this thing looks like. Oh no, this is pre-registration. Let's see this. Yeah, LB. More LBs? No. RIP? Any more? No, but there were more at some point. KV, KVA. Oh, there's another RIP. Anyway, you get the point. It's basically turning speeds into worlds. And that's not fun. Actually, they have been behaving fairly well here. I'm not gonna lie. It was much worse. Let's show you the funny times. Let's go back to 2020, maybe. Yeah, 2020 is enough. Imagine you join this round as a solo player, and you just see all these guys in the top playing together. Very fun, right? In every single speed round, by the way. It's not just one. It's not just one. I could keep going. This one is actually an odd one out, I guess. But I mean, you can see. I'm specifically giving this example here, but well, this is a bit. This is time proof. So if I go back, it's still the same problem, no? Like this guy still. It's an age-old problem. The thing is, in the Romanian server, there were always like 2 big tribes, so it was always fairly competitive because it's not that you had only one big tribe always dominating. Look at this, same points in the end. It's pretty funny, but it's extremely uncompetitive. And so it was actually competitive because you were going from one team winning to the other team winning most of the times, right? But still, if you are just a random player who just joined the speed round once and you see that, it's just not fun. And I said I would talk about the Hungarian server as well. I will. Are they even making speeds nowadays? It looks like it. It's as dead as usually. Is there any longer round? Probably not. No. That's just strange. The new community management is not making long rounds. The Hungarian server was always known for its long rounds. This one is longer, but I'm looking for very like long rounds, like long, wait, like days. Let's go to a few years ago. Maybe this is a bit too much. 2021 looks fine. Okay, this is a like 5-day round, and you can see what I mean again. This guy is not playing alone. I can guarantee you that. Let's see his bash points. Yeah, he has no bash points. So, yeah, he's definitely playing with the other guys as well. So, this is what I mean. People even from different tribes who just play together. And it obviously ruins the game completely. People just come together, play with more people than even the tribe limit allows them to. And, well, they kind of just shit on everyone else who is playing and trying to have fun. It's not very fun. But that's a pretty simple example to understand. Now on to 3.6, and well, everything that comes with it. So skill gap, well, you can see where that comes from. This game mode has a big skill gap because it's hard to play, it's fast, whatever I've said that. But what that really means, I mean, this is pretty well summarized, honestly. There's not much for me to add here. Bad players just join a speed round. They see this shit going on, you know, or they don't. I mean, they might even not, but they might, let's say, join this round, and you see this, and you are this guy, right? No, this guy is actually decent at the game, he probably just stops. But you are like this guy that I've never seen in my entire life. And you look up and you're like, oh, well, how am I gonna learn this? I'm so far away. And, well, they feel like there is nothing to learn, because there's no point, they're just bad. And good players, let's say, you're this guy. Are you gonna play again? Like tomorrow? Will you be here at the same time? Let's see the enemies defeated. There were like a little bit of fights with some guys, but this guy completely dominated the round. So you think he had fun? I don't think he had fun, because I've been there before. I've been there, and it's not very fun. Well, I could go back and probably find more rounds where that happened. And yeah, here again, this one was probably even worse. This is a 8-hour round. There were 18,000 enemies defeated. It's like, it's just sad. It's just sad. But yeah, it's boring. It's fucking boring. Like, imagine, let's say I were to join a speedrun now. Say I'm gonna join this round. Okay, these guys are actually like decent. They would put up a fight. But let's say I would join the .NET round, for example. I don't know any of these guys. I've never heard of these guys. They're probably terrible. This guy has never even won a speed round ever. There's medals now. That's something I'll talk about later as well. But they're just bad. It's not fun. So it's not fun for new players, because there's always like semi-decent players stomping, but the really good players, they don't play the game either. I mean, I have not played the game since when? When did I record? Come on, let's see. Let's waste time with some more useless stuff. Well, 2 months. Wow, that's not very long ago. I was like proudly saying, haha, I have not played the game for 2 months. Well, it's something, guys. It's something. Come on, but yeah. All these rounds, you'll see it's 5v5, 6v6. There's like a reason for me to be playing. If it was just a public round, most of the times I wouldn't be playing it. And if I do, it's like a 1 hour round, which is justifiable in my opinion. So yeah, really good players like me, like Bulek, like Voloda, like I could bring up a ton of names. Yeah, if you're watching this and I didn't say your name, don't comment and say, haha, you forgot me. Okay, actually comment, because that would be cool to know that you're watching this. Yeah, come on. But yeah, you see what I mean. The good known players are not playing the game because there's just no reason to. Everyone is bad, basically. Anyway, that's all when it comes to talking about players. Let's stop blaming the players and let's instead blame the administration now, shall we? I mean, I do that all the time. It's just one more thing. So anyway, here I'm not gonna bash administration a lot, but when it comes to administration, well, there's a lot that they can do regarding speeds. They can plan speeds. That's what they can do. Anyway, that's a big thing, planning speeds. If people actually played, yeah, they don't. Anyway, the speed rounds though, they are not very hard to plan anymore. But there is a big problem, and this comes from before already, from the language problem. That is, bad admins don't get punished, and good admins don't get rewarded. Quick example of this. Let's look at, for example, well, the DE server. I don't know the German admins. I have no clue. Never heard of them. But all I know is that they only plan this type of rounds without farm assistant, without anything. Are they punished for it? What do I mean punished? Having less people join the round. That's what I mean. Well, they aren't. Because why is this translating? No, don't translate. Because the server is extremely big, right? The server has... I don't think it's the server with the most people. That's the Polish server. But it has some of the most players in the entire world. And they will just join here because they are prompted to most of the times. Except like these guys that just come and dominate the rounds easily when they do. Which is not the case every time, but here it was, for example. But most people here are like random world players that just see, oh, I can join a speed round. And they join, and they play a little bit. And then they, well, either get bored and never touch it again, or actually like the idea, but, well, now there hasn't been speeds for like 5 days, which is, I didn't even hear of these rounds happening. But anyway, I don't think anyone really cared anymore, since they are always the same. But, yeah, the reality is, rounds aren't anything special, but the bad admins don't get punished. Good admins, however, what is a good admin? Come on, look at me now. I'm sorry. But really, I tried a lot to do a lot of things in Italy for a very long time. I mean, would I say that there's more people playing here because of my actions? Yes. Was I really rewarded for it though? Well, not really, because if you look at this, there just aren't that many people playing. And even if I go look at, maybe this round has people playing, maybe it's more competitive. Yeah, more people play. But regardless, people from big servers. Oh, this is a special round. Holy shit, this is big. Oh, this was the funny high speed round that I talked about. That's fun. So, well, this is a funny round to make. Anyway, oh, there's 2 of them. Yeah, this round was really cool. If you were not there at that time, I'm sorry. It will probably never happen again. Anyway, yeah, we were not very rewarded for our actions here. I mean, we definitely had more people. It changed the game for the better, sure, but it didn't necessarily make the game inherently that much better, because people from other servers just don't even know about these things, because people don't move from server to server. That wouldn't even be bad for InnoGames, by the way, because the servers are all from InnoGames, so they would earn money regardless. So the idea that, oh, we are like stealing InnoGames from their money, it wouldn't even make sense. It's still game from Inno. So yeah, yeah, it's doesn't make much sense. But yeah, in the end, there just is no real reason in a way to put a lot of effort as a speed admin. I mean, just look at the French server. We have Argumentum. He's a good speed admin. He's a nice guy, but he hasn't planned rounds in a while. Oh, he has actually. Damn, that's cool. Okay, he's planning like 1 round per day now. Okay, I mean, that's I understand it, because then there's like everyone focused on playing this rounds in specific. Anyway, yeah, but he used to plan like rounds daily and spend a lot of time on it, and now that's changed a bit. What are these accounts? Oh, it looked like spam accounts. Anyway, this is competitive for sure. yeah, in general, admins are not rewarded for their actions. That's the way I will put it, because people don't care to check other servers, and a lot of them don't even know about other servers. Anyway, let's move on. I was stuck there for a long time. Okay, so next we have failure to maintain a competitive player base. And why am I blaming that on the administrators here? Well, because they've had chances. There were a lot of successful tournaments in the past. Uh, the, well, the latest tournament with a fair share of success was the 2020 tournament of 10v10 on .NET. I believe more could have been done to keep up a community from there, but it simply was. It was not even tried. I really do believe that they could have, come on, just invested a little bit of effort into maintaining an actual speed community, which I have tried to do, and I also plan on making a video, by the way, stay tuned, on why making an international community is practically impossible at this point. But yeah, I'm accusing people of not being able to do something that I believe is impossible. That doesn't make much sense, but well, yeah, because if there was a competitive player base, well, you would have a lot more good players playing, and generally a lot of people also trying to learn, because now there's absolutely nothing happening. There's no reason for anyone to play speed. However, let's assume for some reason InnoGames now out of nowhere decided, let's make speeds great again. Yeah, I don't know why they would think that, but so, let's say someone in InnoGames someday woke up and thought about doing that. They would come up with a tournament, they would give a really big prize. Even back then they also even gave tablets and like shirts and like mugs and maybe even like, I don't know, maybe even like my mouses for a computer, things like that. I'm not quite sure, but they used to give out a lot of stuff in tournaments on the Dotmaster server, and they stopped. They stopped. No one knows why, but yeah, they just stopped. But imagine they decided to come back with that. You would have a bit of a gold rush, really, if the reward is good. You'd have a bit of a gold rush of people being like, okay, I want this, and actually practicing the game. So if you have people practicing, all the good players will be coming back and be like, oh, I like this. People are trying to become better. People are actually like getting better. They are challenging me. Let's come back. Let's play a little bit more. Let's check the game out, and that would prompt a big snowball of just interest in the game, because even newer players would see that. Let's say they would get to content that I'm making here. Let's say, even had some like, I don't know, like their brain like exploded or something, and they decided to promote creators that actually care about the game. That seems like a holy shit. Like I think the planet would have to be like nuked by some like alien invasion or something for that to happen, because holy shit. I think it's more likely that I don't know, some dictatorship becomes a democracy than InnoGames actually promoting creators. But anyway, let's imagine they do, and some new player looks at a video of mine talking about that tournament and is like, this is cool. This sounds interesting. I also want to earn a fucking tablet or whatever they may be giving. So, well, let's check this out. Let's see how I can play the game and learn how to play it. And then they would join the community, and then they would interact with people. They would learn. They would then bring in some friends, and it's a constant snowball. Like as soon as you get a good amount of people interested, the snowball will just begin, and it will keep rolling downhill, and well, until it eventually crashes. That is when the tournament ends, probably, if nothing else is done. But anyway, it's possible. My argument here is that it's possible, and it frankly is necessary, and it is what I tried to do by trying to make the international speed community, which I will talk about at some other video. Not at, doesn't make sense. It's in. So yeah, yeah, that's my complaints when it comes to administration. Yeah, doesn't even seem like it's me saying this, right? I'm not just like bashing the support, the people of support. That those sentences make no sense. I'm not here just shit talking people from support, is what I mean. That's rare, because that's what I usually do, right? Or that's what you might think I do. Anyway, if you think that I do that, you're probably right. So, anyway, going on to the initiatives to make speeds better, because, well, we've kind of seen a little bit of it recently. A tiny little bit. We've seen speed badges being introduced to the game, which, funnily enough, I really think this is what happened, because it's just funny. I'm not sure. I could just come up with the forum topics of it. Let me see if I can find it. I will pause the video for a little bit. Okay, I found it. So, improvements. Community suggestion. Masters of Speed. The players in the winning tribes of a speed round will now receive an achievement of how many speed rounds they won. Which is, that's cool, right? Seems cool. But, what is this? Not this, no, this has nothing to do. We're aware of an issue where speed awards were awarded wrongly for classic wins, and the winners of speedrun did not get the rewards. So what happened here is, I genuinely believe this is what happened, but maybe I'm wrong, and I hope that I'm wrong. But I genuinely do believe that they thought speeds is the same as classics, and they just were like giving speed awards for winning classic rounds. I think that would be probably the most funny thing ever. I mean, it may be a weird theory, but in a way it kind of makes sense, because speeds is more of an even more niche thing than classics are, and classics are already not very populated compared to regular worlds. But yeah, it's just funny that this was a thing. They basically confused speeds with classics at first. They eventually added though, and that's why this is here. They are giving now award if you win a speed round. Let's try to go find. Did any of these guys win a speed round? No, we had seen that they didn't. But here they did, right? Here, this guy. You can see this guy, Master of Speed. He's won 19 speed rounds. So every time you won a speed round after this update, you would get, well, you get one more number added here. How cool! It's a bit useless, but it's a badge. I mean, it's something. Does this actually improve speeds? Well, it may make some people want to play it, because like in the short term, let's look at the profile of someone who's playing a world, right? This top one guy, has he won a speed round? No, he doesn't. He doesn't actually care. This is holy shit. Yeah, I'm taking a screenshot of this one. That is holy shit. That's insane. That's going on the why I don't play Worlds video, by the way. Anyway, you can probably guess why. But yeah, even most of these people that would maybe care about badges, and they really do enjoy their badges. They don't even care about the speed ones. Even they don't care. So, yeah, why would anyone else care? Do these guys have all the same picture or what? Oh no, it looked very similar. But yeah, these guys, holy shit. This guy can win the world alone. He alone has more points than everyone else almost. He has like 2/3 of the points of this tribe. That's definitely very fair. That's definitely fair. Anyway, this guy, for example, I know that he plays speeds. Here, he's won some speed rounds. Cool. But this is really most of what the the world players could see on this award. It's like you go there, you win a speed round, and you have the award, and then you just don't care about it anymore. And a lot of people just don't care still. I was actually expecting to see more people with the achievement of winning a speedrun already, because it frankly is not very hard, and it should be fairly winnable. And it's one more achievement, and I know that there's a lot of people who care about achievements. Maybe if I go to .NET, that's more common. Maybe not, honestly. It might just be... Yeah, I don't think it will happen. I don't think I'll find it. But anyway, it's an achievement. It's cool. It's cool. I mean, it's a little bit of something. It's fine. But it's not, doesn't really add anything. Anyway, it's better than nothing. Moving on to special rounds, and this is timeless. It's not necessarily something new, but this is, you will probably think I'm going crazy or something, because I will actually give the Portuguese and the Brazilian server as a good example of something. You might think that I'm fine, like, genuinely, don't worry about me, I'm doing good, but I have to give them credit when credit is due. They have been doing some cool things, honestly, like these rounds that are slower and have like random tribes, which is things that I've done before as well, but those things just work really well in these servers, because they are used to playing worlds, and well, it kinda makes this be a small world, which is, it's great, it's really cool, and it really brings in a lot of new players. Like I don't think I've ever seen any of these names, and that's honestly great. That's something that I'd like to see. But well, we will see for how long they will keep this up. They already started toning things down a little bit, because before you were actually doing something really cool, and I didn't see anyone ever doing this. That is something that I will give them definitely credit for. So that's really cool idea. That is giving these prizes throughout the round. So this one was, for example, first player to conquer a rune village, because it was a rune win condition world. First player to defend full off in a rune village. That's cool. Those are really cool things, and adding these prizes, small prizes, I mean, not actually small, they're pretty considerable, but like having these things, it's really cool. They haven't done that for a while though, sadly, since January. Anyway, cool, very cool, honestly, really great. I may have things against the Portuguese support, which is also the Brazilian support, but when I have to give them credit, I definitely can, and this is great. And it's not the first time we've seen people do things like these. We have on the Italian server, for example, had the mini classics. Did they ever even host a classic after? Doesn't look like they hosted any classic after we hosted the last mini classic, which is sad. Is there any? Let's see if I look for mini classic. Not much. Not much at all. Yeah, this was just the end. But anyway, mini classics were, well, classic worlds, but with a faster speed. Obviously, here was 12, for example, and that's pretty much the idea of these worlds here. I would not mind this being hosted on the classic server, because it's kind of what it is. It's a classic round. You can have the classic 1 server and the classic 2 server, which is something that exists on PT and PR. They are all closed now. They are closed. But if you go here and put PT C1, It exists, and PTC2 also exists, which is something they never allowed us to have in Italy, but anyway, you can have two servers. You might as well have one running mini classics and have one running actual classics, because that is something that is incredibly close to speed, the mini classic. Because if someone enjoys a classic, they might enjoy a mini classic, and if they enjoy a mini classic, they might as well enjoy a speed, because it's pretty much the same thing but even faster. So it's like going upstairs basically. Like world players may go one step up and try out a classic world. It's faster, there's more competition there, there's less pay to win, there's all that. And they may also like go a step up and try this mini classic stuff, where it's even faster. In the way we set it up in Italy, it was starting with more points. I don't know, is the start level here? I don't know, I don't see it. Maybe CC did not put the start level here, but the start level was like 5,000 points, so it was not even necessarily about sprinting, which can be as well sometimes, that's fine, but the idea would be more to just fight, practice how to fight, and, well, just play as if it was a world, but get to that point of the mid-game where you have a lot of tribes against each other faster, and not be stuck on upgrading your village forever, and upgrading barbarians, that's a bit boring. So, mini classics are cool. They are really the halfway point between classics and speeds, and they are nice, and that's pretty much what I've been seeing them do in Portugal and in Brazil. So good job. That's well done. That's really well done. And he also did that in Spain, Tastic, because he's also speed admin in Spain for whatever reason. I'm not even gonna. Yeah, these rounds are always the same. It's the same complaints as I had on the Portuguese server, but I won't bother. Will not bother. I have better things to do now. So, on to the last point here. We are only 1 hour and 12 in. This is not a 2-hour video, guys. Aren't you happy? I am. I definitely am. What can be done to improve speed? Well, a lot. First of all, you can look at my Duck speed admin history video. I talked about a lot of things that I tried to do there, and a lot of them just didn't work because I didn't have the support of InnoGames. I had really good tournament ideas, I had really good concepts for events. If those things were done at a bigger scale, it would be insanely cool. But the biggest way to improve speed really is to bring in new players, because most, or like 90% of the actual community currently, they would not get into speed. They really wouldn't, because of what we've talked before. We've talked about all of these problems. We've talked about how the community is generally old, so it really is hard, or would be hard, to push them to play speed. So we would, holy shit, voice crack. So we would need to have people above actually promote the game and promote speeds and actually see some potential on it, like I see. Yeah, I don't know. I've tried for way too long. I don't think I was able to convince anyone. But definitely the game has potential, at least in my opinion. And if they decided to invest on it, it would definitely have to start by making new players come in. And that's like the first step. Well, more possible answers to this, how to improve the game thing, were TW speeds. Hello. Does this work? It does. So, TW speeds, and here in the Discord server of speeds, you have a ton of suggestions that I made for TW speeds. If you've used TW speeds, you know about the amount of useful information it had. There's some prints of it here. It gathers data, and I hope it still will. I mean, I know Jojo is the guy that hosts the website. He doesn't really care about the game anymore, but the website is really fucking cool, and without it, speeds are pointless, in my opinion, because you don't have all this data that makes the game cool, honestly. And that is the actual way to compare people. I mean, not really. You can't say someone is bad because they don't have good statistics, or say someone is necessarily good because they have won a lot of rounds. But it's just cool. It gives you a reason to play the game. So I gave a ton of suggestions here to improve this website, and having something like this come to life inside of the game itself would be even cooler, because imagine having a global leaderboard of speeds inside of the game itself that everyone can just look at. That's fucking cool. It's like, oh, I want to be there. Let's play. And a lot of people would, I feel like, because competition is cool. And we have a lot of cool ideas here. A lot of things are extremely simple, but also there's things like having a known player profile. You can pause the video. I'm going through this. You can pause the video as I am slowly going through these. But generally, these ideas would basically add more data to the server, and would overall just make TW speeds better, and would make people that play constantly have even more reasons to keep going. So yeah, that would be cool. And honestly, I think that is about it. I think that is about what I will talk about for improving speeds, because I could really think about it deeply, and well, I have one specific idea for it, but it would be a very long-term idea of turning speeds into a competitive mode, and I will present it to you in this other video that I have planned, that is how to improve the game, like in general, not even just speeds. So I will bring that to you there. That has more to do with my own vision of the game, not even necessarily with speeds itself. I think the way speeds work currently are great, or is great, because it's a faster Tribal Wars, and Tribal Wars is cool, and faster Tribal Wars is even cooler. So yeah, it's nice. It is nice. But anyway, I think that is about it. I hope you are not extremely bored. And I hope you took something away from this. I mean, if you were wondering why speeds are dead, well, here's your answer. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see ourselves in the next video. Bye bye!